So now let's talk about items that are pending review. So items that pending review, they need some type of action taken on them. Most likely, they need an SDS sheet or its equivalent attached to the item for them to approve you selling the item. So let's take a look at how we would fix one of those items. So let me just scroll down here to one of my most recent. And we have this L'Oreal Paris True Match Super Blendable Liquid Foundation. And if I click Action Needed, it's going to actually open up for me to edit and fix the error that this particular item has. So we'll let this kind of load in. We'll see we've got a green check mark here, so that's all good. We scroll down. This has a green check mark. We're all good. This has a green check mark, green check mark, green check mark, and keep scrolling, green check mark. And here we have our problem. So it doesn't like the URL that was put in for the safety data sheet. Now, safety data sheets, there are a couple of ways that you can input information for a safety data sheet. So the first way is actually if you go to Walmart's database, which is msds.walmartstores.com. And then you can enter a UPC, you can enter a product name. So I could do L'Oreal True Match. And let's see if the only thing we have that comes up is this crayon concealer. So let's try by UPC. So we're going to go back over here. We're going to scroll up. We're going to grab the G10. And then I'm going to take away those first two digits because we want just the UPC. I'm going to submit that and see, and it says no results were found. So this is where a lot of people kind of get frustrated with entering products on Walmart, particularly makeup, lotions, things that touch your skin, where it's asking for an SDS sheet, but Walmart itself doesn't have an SDS sheet. Well, if we go back over here to this item, and let's scroll back down to where it's asking for the SDS sheet. If we hover over this little information icon, it talks about the SDS sheet and that you need an SDS sheet, blah, blah, blah. But it also says that you can have with like makeup an actual label image with ingredients. So you don't necessarily need the SDS sheet. You just need a URL that points to the ingredients for the product. So the problem is with this particular item, if I scroll up to my images, is we just have this one image here and we don't have an image of the ingredient statement. So we can go out to walmart.com, look the item up, and we can see there's no ingredient statement here. My next avenue is to see, is there ingredients listed on Amazon? So I brought this up and it does have this label that might work, although it's really not an ingredients list. This is drug facts. And so if you lifted this up, it would probably have the full ingredient list. And so what I would do is actually go out and search on the internet. And if you can get the brand's website, then sometimes they will have a list of ingredients. And I just use a screen capture software and I captured that as an image. And so when that comes up here I use a product called Snagit. And I'm going to save this as L'Oreal Ingredients. So I'm just saving it as an image file. Then I'm going to go back to here in my edit item, manage images, and I'm going to load that image in. So let me just go over and drag it. and it will pop in. So I'm going to submit that. And then what I can do is I can right click on the ingredients list and I can say copy image address. I can scroll down to where it's asking for this. And I'm going to say this is an ingredient list, and I'm going to put the image URL here. And then for the safety data sheet, I'm going to attach that same URL. So you want to make sure that you say, hey, it has one hazardous component, which is in the case of most cases. You don't need battery information. It's not battery. And then this is just ambient storage. So once we have that information filled out, we're going to submit it. And it's telling me I don't have enough images for this. So what I'm going to do very quickly is go back out here to the actual website, and I'm going to right click and copy this image address, manage images, add that one. It's already in their database. I don't know why they act crazy like this sometimes, but they do. And then I'll go ahead and put the other one in there. And it requires 5 or more images. It's unfortunate. Let me just repeat this first image and see if it will let me get away with that, since we're just trying to get this through as an example. All right, so I'm going to submit that. Now I can submit this. And now it will stay in pending review because somebody's going to actually look at that SDS sheet and see if it matches. So if we scroll back down, we're going to see that that item is at the bottom here, and it's now in review. Once it passes review, it will go into the catalog. If there's an issue, it'll go back to action needed, and you'll have to go see. And if they reject that ingredients list, then we have to do something else. Typically, if I have the actual item in my hand because I just listed it, I take a photo of the actual ingredients on the bottle and I upload that. But I didn't have this on hand for the purpose of this demonstration. So those are the items that are in review. And I know they can be testy when you're trying to find SDS sheets. You can search the internet for SDS sheets too if it's not in the Walmart list. So that's another way around it if it's something that actually needs an SDS sheet. If you're doing things that have batteries included, you're not really looking for the SDS sheet for the item. You're looking for the SDS sheet for the battery that's included. So if it's like a button cell battery, look up, 2025 or whatever the button cell battery size is. If it's AAA batteries, you need something for AAAs. So those are what you're looking for to fulfill the requirements for those SDS sheets. As you can see, I still have quite a few that I haven't taken care of. All of these Mando and Lume are actually dead listings, the IP, the brand issued IP, so don't try to sell those Walmart. You'll see there is a tab here for prohibited. So these are items that basically they came back and said, hey, you cannot sell them for whatever reason. So if you click on that, it'll actually say like, hey, this was identified as a pesticide. Okay, well, this is actually lotion and like body wash or whatever. And so like I could file an appeal and probably give them information or things like that. It's identified as a pesticide because it's saying that it gives an intention that it kills viruses and bacteria and that type of thing. And you cannot have that claim anywhere in the listing. So you might edit the listing if it has that information in it. I know that's the problem with the anti-bacs from Bath and Body Works. You can't say antibacterial on Walmart. So unless you provide the pesticide documentation for that. Action needed. These are the ones that actually from this page over here from all still need something done with them. Ones that are in review. If something's in review for a while, you can see this one in review since July 25th, then you might want to open up a case to see if you can't get that bumped out because you really can't do anything with it if it doesn't need action. If it's in this in review state, it's basically not available to you. So you're going to have to do something to kind of get that out. Sometimes you can upload a full item setup and get it out of the in review status that way, but the other way is to actually open up a case. Okay, also under pending review, you're going to see this trust and safety tab. And the trust and safety tab is just any issues that you've had with trust and safety that you need to take care of. So here we had some Cremo razor set giftable sets. I did appeal those. The appeal was closed. I was able to sell them merchant fulfilled. This one actually came in as restricted. And so it's under their prohibited products policy. So I'd have to kind of understand why this particular game is kind of underneath that restricted status, and it may be a brand related issue. So you'll see restricted items here. It's the same 3, anything they have in review. And then the last thing is if you have any potential duplicates, Walmart will identify those if there are duplicates in your catalog, and you're required to merge those within 30 days or they will unpublish the duplicate. So I don't have any of those right now to show you, but these are the things that are in this pending review area, just an area for you to take care of so you can activate those listings.